Yo, what's up, bitches? And welcome to the big Sleepover Moviecast. Tonight, we are going to do one of my personal favorites. Just got it on 4K. This is a legend of early 90s films. This is a legend of the stars breakover performances into film with a lot of his characters that he will use later to get very, 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 very rich, being developed right here based on members of his own family. Also has an iconic soundtrack for the title song, and it is shot in San Francisco, which is always great up to around about here. Let's say San Francisco has fallen off and is a shithole literally now, but early 90s, still pretty, still amazing. Stay tuned for some great photography in San Francisco on this movie cast. This is labeled a American romantic black comedy film. Love me some black comedy in every definition. Directed by Thomas Schlamme. Schlammy. Yeah, did not really actually know him till just now. Particularly known for his collaborations with Aaron Sorkin. Ooh. And known for his work as executive producer on The West Wing and director of Sports Night and The Americans. And I should know him. Schlamme was born in Houston, Texas, is Jewish, and his family escaped Nazi Germany the week before Kristallnacht. Amazing. As someone who comes from a partial Jewish line that escaped from the Ukraine, I'm in love. And he went to Bel Air High School. Okay, good to know. Let's file that back in the back of my mind, and let's come back to this gentleman later here on the movie cast. Now, if you haven't guessed, it's So I Married an Axe Murderer. 1993. Grossed $27 million on a $20 million budget. Mike Myers, the star. Mike Myers, a man of mystery. A man that his career is incredibly rich, but does his humor hold up in the modern era? I think, maybe. We'll see. There's so much to love in this film, and I don't even know where to begin. The cast is stacked. So we have Mike Myers. We have Nancy Travis, gorgeous, as the leading lady. We have Anthony LaPaglia, who does a fantastic job. Amanda Plummer as the villain. Michael Richards as insensitive man. Okay. That's what we call a foreshadowing. Brenda Fricker as the mom. Charles Grodin. And my favorite, in the best cameo ever put to film, literally steals the movie, Phil fucking Hartman as John Johnson, but my friends call me Vicky. Absolutely wonderful. Debbie Mazur is in this. The classic Stephen Wright. Alan fucking Arkin coming back. Been here on the movie cast before as the captain. From Ally McBeal. Greg German. Patrick Bristow. Lunell Campbell playing the serenade musician Paul Sanchez. Robert Nichols. And from Stay Tuned, Dude, Where's My Car? And of course, other films, Marla Sokoloff. If you haven't seen this film, this is a wonderful example of early 90s hilarity. Yes, it's kind of dark at times, but to me, I like when Mike Myers is allowed to be dark and not just being a Disney Shrek-like character. This has his early impressions of Scottish people. He plays multiple roles. And there are just some excellent lines that were distributed as MP3s way back on Napster. I have bought this film multiple times, and I finally bought the 30th anniversary 4K edition. I'm super excited to see it in HDR. It was always very well photographed and hilariously spoofing the San Francisco beatnik scene, especially the 90s revamp of the beatnik scene. You can't beat it. There are tons of deleted scenes apparently on this 4K, so I'll have to sort through those. But basically, this is a true pleasure, and I'm giving it to you guys right now, early in season 1 of this movie cast. And yeah, we have goals for season 2. I think we're on the fiscal calendar here. So in February, we'll switch over to season 2. And I'd like to do a few new things then. Having cut my teeth on 60 or so episodes, we'll see how many I get done. Now, the recent Netflix release called The Pentaveret is based on the writing here in this film, right? The Weekly World News, the conspiracy theorist father of Mike Myers in the film, who again is one hell of a character, and again based on Mike Myers' own experience growing up with a Scottish family. Anyway, let's go ahead and dive in. I hope you bought the 4K too. There's nothing that is going to beat the fidelity of a hard copy. Buy these while they last, right? Show the companies that there is a market for people who are willing to pay $20-25 for a 4K high def HDR lossless audio release of any of our favorite films, especially the older ones shot on film, of which the fidelity 4K is almost the total, but I think it goes a little bit higher. I think it's something like 5K if I recall. So an 8K blow up of an original scan is probably the last we will get of historic photography, depending on how it was shot. If it's 70 millimeter, maybe 8K is not even the top. Maybe it's more like 10K, but I'm waiting for that. I'm ready for that for Kubrick and for David Lean's films, those epics that I would love to see at that fidelity. Anyway, let's start the countdown. 3, 2, 1, go. And gently fading in, we should see the Pegasus attack us. Already I can see there's a lot of grain in this transfer. That's fine. You know, it needs to be this high probably to preserve the film stock. It's recorded in H.6.5 as all 4K releases are on Blu-ray. But again, I'm expecting something good here. I bought the Blu-ray as well, and it was in the back burner of what we were going to do here on this movie cast. So, you know, I was going to do it in that, but this 4K is brilliant. And we hear the song now, the LA's. Iconic, and it sounds great. Helicopter shot of the port, North Beach in San Francisco. She goes, there she goes again. Ooh, and I don't end it rain. Nob Hill? Is that, I think we're in Nob Hill. Although this is the Panhandle. Haight-Ashbury. I'm not entirely sure, but that looks like the jazz bar that I used to go to. And yes, I used to live in California and go to San Francisco often. Coffee culture. They call it a double shot, but that is intense. And that is a hell of a lot of fucking milk. As it should be, though. You want a soup. You want a soup bowl of coffee. Really impressed with the audio fidelity on this. And a great opening to a film, you know? We got motion, we got the tracking shot. I like Goodfellas. Stay tuned. Why is he dressed like Huggy Bear? Other than they're smoking that good weed in Northern California. And there's Mike Myers with either a wig or his lesbian haircut. Yeah, like literally, not just. What a face. Great character actor. Oh, beat poetry. My first foray into public performance. So, a little bit about me. I have multiple degrees in English and I was a writer. And my first performance was reading poetry and short stories at open mics and yelling at people to shut up. Because I thought for some reason my stupid story was important. When people were there for music and not for spoken word. And so we have here the standard young man, but very affluent young man living in San Francisco, doing what he wants, drinking cappuccinos, hanging out with his cop friend, and apparently dating a lot of women that just aren't good enough for him. Even though Mike Myers is the facial template for Shrek. Now, of course, Mike Myers, his movie career would take off after this. We would get his other SNL sketches brought to life, most notably Wayne's World. Stay tuned for both. I like both of those films, and I like Mike Myers. He then went into Austin Powers in the late 90s, and then Shrek, and then became so rich he didn't have to work. And then has done some bit parts and things, did the Pentaveret, which is mediocre. It's not the worst thing you could watch, though, but it's pretty bad. It's up there. Oh, look at that Canon helmet. Staple of like early 90s hip. Woman. Whoa, man. Now we would consider this incel behavior by the modern lens. Projecting and doxing your own ex-girlfriends. Well, if she did that, that's kind of fucked up. I mean, yeah, exactly. This is not deep, is it? Sure. Now, what's missing is the joint, an unlit cigarette, and his hair is dyed red. I don't believe it's that color naturally. That was terrible, honestly. But, you know, at least it was short. The Powell Street train. And there is beautiful San Francisco, y'all. My God, you know, it really is lovely to walk around. If you've never been, it is way better than New York because the weather is better. It's also it's smaller. It's literally all by the bay. And yes, I know Manhattan is, but it's a different vibe. Manhattan is full of shit. So is San Francisco, literally. But at the same time, and there she is. Oh, this girl with a unique job who's gorgeous and apparently single and just waiting for bowl cut to pick her up. This is a myth that movies of the 90s put forth for us, making us think that with mediocre humor, which is all we've seen of Mike so far, we could somehow land such a treasure. We tried, and we wrote poetry, and we were made fun of by our girlfriend's older sisters that resembled Fairuza Balk. Now, that may be a personal story, but it is absolutely true. And if only I could go back with what I've learned now, I would still fuck up, but I would be able to comment on the situation a little bit better. Yeah, forlorn and longing. Now, he has a classic convertible, and now he's driving outside of the city, either in Marin or just high up here in like the Heights area. And we meet his Scottish family. So incredibly loyal to Scotland and not afraid to be characters. And there is Mike Myers as his second character. And there's Head. Poor, I guess, younger brother. I don't think it's ever fully explained. Maybe it is, but a much younger brother here is what we're seeing. And I like it. Great editing so far. Great music. And again, this is a fantastic transfer. Oh, and his friend beat him there. Well, they grew up together. At least he has a beer, though. You know, he could have several beers. Beautiful. So if that was his brother, you think he would dap him up or do something to say hi. But in the 90s, the younger brothers were treated like shit. As a younger brother, I can attest to this. You were ignored, and that's what it was. Until you come onto your own. At which point, there's no acknowledgement of that. Ooh. Here we go. Listen. There it is. Mike Myers is so much better as a persona, isn't he? The Meadows. He can't even keep a straight face. The Queen. This line. See, look at him laugh. Ooh, you're gonna buy me chicken. Ooh. The Colonel. Because he puts an addictive chemical in his chicken that makes you crave it fortnightly. Smart ass. All right, there you go. So you can see how many times I've watched this film. Absolutely one of my brother and I, my favorite films of all time. I will bring my brother on maybe to do a commentary on this one. Soccer fans. So here you see Fat Bastard and a little bit of Dr. Evil. He's going to cry himself to sleep on his giant pillow. Oh. It's a lot of carrots boiling. Girls, you brought home. And what I like about this isn't an SNL based film. This is his, semi autobiographical thriller with a pretty decent plot. Look at these sets. The costumes are great. Color balance is great. It's an underrated gem. I know it's not a secret. People know about this film, especially anybody who loves Mike Myers, but I'm just continually in love with this. And now seeing it in 4K, I'm seeing all these details, the boiling carrots. Pillow. I think I watched this on VHS for the first time. There's the Weekly World News. Bat Boy Born. Birth. The Brogue. Scottish Brogue? Irish Brogue? Is that the term? Yeah, I think. No, we watched the movie on this movie cast together in Bruges. And that was an Irish film. But we have some Scottish films to get to. And we will. And they're pretty darn good, to be honest. I am really ready to do some of these Scottish directors. So stay tuned. You can see his acne scarring. I love it. Through his makeup. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 beers that we've seen. To me. Oh, it is San Francisco. So, shit like that goes down. Well done. Pacing here is lightning quick, isn't it? There's the theme. A Mustang. Beautiful. There she goes. There she goes again. Ooh, doo. All right, that's a little absurd. Wearing that outfit. Hey, she's in the middle of a huge, bustling city. The New York of the West Coast. The hip, urban place. I know, after the 60s, 1969, when Marilyn Manson killed the movement. Here's Arkin. San Francisco took a dive, but people like the Grateful Dead consistently kept it a progressive, liberal, open, free haven for many, many years. And now it's rotted and dead because of tech. But it was a great place for a while. And you can see it and feel it in these photographs. I always like this subplot, this little juxtaposition between Myers' best friend and his job and his chill sergeant, not his yelling sergeant. And you see, that's what he wants. He wants that Lethal Weapon-esque, "You're a loose cannon, motherfucker." And it fits Arkin so well. It does. I want to commandeer a vehicle. It's perfect. That is great dialogue. I'm in love with that. Now, of course, to have a killer be a butcher is a great sort of line. And we know other great films of the noir category were set in San Francisco. Mostly Vertigo comes to mind. Haggis. I wouldn't want to eat haggis myself. I don't like organ meat. A New Yorker in San Francisco. Oh, not a vegan friendly scene. Nothing like a slab of bacon, though, to be honest. That is a. And being vaguely sexual, he has now won the heart of this woman. And I like that she just took his word that he has worked as a butcher. And, you know, this is definitely some sort of violation of safety. They make ravioli there. I take some fresh ravioli. You know, his humor is kind of just dad humor. I think I would get along with Mike. Yeah. The whole playing with the dead animal though, I don't think I can get behind. That's a little off for me, but you know, otherwise this is pre-internet or pre any kind of usable internet. Keep that in mind. So a lot of socializing was word of mouth. Oh, pardon me. And here we have a legendary shot in front of the Golden Gate Bridge. And there you go. The seed of Dr. Evil. It's a good date question, to be honest. Ah, it's Fleet Week in San Francisco. Now, what did she say? What do y'all think? Fuck you. See a tour of San Francisco sites here. Well, whatever dark humor they've shared has worked. Like a dog, you clap for him, come here, sit, stay, beg, beg, beg. Now eat this pussy in the Parthenon. It's a soft lighting on her. Less soft on him. Yeah, I mean, it's, back when being inappropriate was a sign of intelligence, a sign of wit. It's a thing that has fallen off. And in retrospect, does it seem that good? No. But you got to understand the context. We didn't have the internet or social media for instant correction. We read books at best. We did watch a lot of TV. But that was all manufactured. So, sarcasm was a 70s holdover? No, I mean, I'm trying to think back in versions of pop culture I've seen. It's been around since Screwball. Screwball was the start of it. So there's always been this like anti-society, anti-what's appropriate type vibe. And if you find someone you can be that with, it's fun. It's freeing. You don't have limitations. It's not at all about hate or, conscious effort to bring someone else down or hurt anyone else. It's more of knowing that there are boundaries and exposing yourself. And so it's very much a prelude to physical love. And that's what's going on here. Now, again, she's a butcher, owns a butcher shop, which is, I guess, probably pretty fucking lucrative in early 90s. I like the serious slant here. But she has a great house. No longer could you afford that in San Francisco or any New York major metropolitan area. And as Act 1 comes to a close, we find our hero falling in love. Oh, the Hamlet-like behavior of a beta male that women apparently just loathe. Don't ask to kiss me, just do it. Okay, well, maybe I have feelings too, and maybe me being honest is a bold move, but you don't think that? Okay, all right. All up to me. Let me just do everything. Well, okay, can do that too. Here's my penis. Let me poke it against you till something happens. So both sides of the Golden Gate Bridge there, Baker Beach and the military base, I believe, some sort of bunker is on the other side. I went and toured it. I mean, that would wake me up too. But I would wake her up immediately and be like, "What's up, girl? Who's Ralph?" I wouldn't do the cat calming claw. See, he's more diplomatic than I would be, especially if we just banged. And assumingly she's naked. A tight hug is what I would do. Now, he's a small man, So enveloping her in his arms isn't the same as a Sasquatch like me. But that would be my tactic to someone who's having a night terror. Now, no spoilers at this point. If you haven't seen this movie, you should stop this movie cast and go watch it because it's fantastic. What a shot. Gorgeous. Dawn. Okay, so he's not naked. When does he get naked? That's coming up. It's been a while. I haven't seen this in probably, I don't know, maybe 10 years since I got the Blu-ray, whenever that was. I know I've watched it with other people, with loved ones, but that was probably about 10 years ago. Oh my. Gorgeous shot, gorgeous apartment. And that scene, oh my God, I've never seen it look this rich. Smoky because of the incense and the weed. Her teeth. She is a great character actress, and yeah. Now she has that raspy 90s voice, the Jennifer Tilly. But Jennifer Tilly does it to a new level. Other raspy queens, Scarlett Johansson. Go ahead and, wait for this movie cast and then buy Ghost World and watch it with me and notice she's had a deep rasp forever. Good movie. It's her and the girl from American Beauty. Stay tuned for that one. Ooh, I think we should do that one sooner than later, too. Again, the editing is great here. I love the humor. I think it's well done. Now look at the white on that Fruit Loops information. You can see you can really see the pixelation. Now I know that's because they had to, because of the grain of the film. I just don't like it, and I think other restoration studios do a better job. Now maybe they use more denoise and a little AI upscaling. It's a crazy market. Go read about it in AV1. If you don't know what AV1 is and you're listening to this movie cast, then do you even like video, digital video? Then go read about it. But anyway, why are you listening to me? This is the one movie I've seen so much that I don't need to experience it. I love her performance in this. And, this is maybe my favorite Mike Myers film, which is a big claim. I'm still a supporter of the Austin Powers series. We'll do those on this movie cast eventually. Other than that, and Shrek, which we'll do, I don't know, Pentaveret was just okay. His cameo in Bastards was odd. He's an odd guy, isn't he? Look at him. What's his beef? Who is Mike Myers really? 1, 2, princes kneel before you. That's what I said now. Princes who adore you. What do I had now? Okay, now we're going to Alcatraz to get fucked up. Hey, God damn, that is a gorgeous shot. All right, here we go, y'all. This is my favorite scene in the whole film. I'm going to talk over it a little bit because I'm so excited to do this. But at the same time, I want you to experience it. Now, look at the ethnically diverse crowd in San Francisco. My God. I love him. Okay, top 10 fucking subtle jokes we've ever heard. San Francisco appropriate too. Just fucking watch it. I'm going to take a pull on this bong. Do 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 da 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 bum 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 bum. 1, 2, Princess kneel before you. That's what I said now. All right, here we go. Fucking give him an Oscar. Look how well he commands all of us. That's fucking brilliant. I don't know if Mike Myers wrote that, if that was an ad lib. I'm sure that's on the script, but fucking god damn it, nobody could do it as serious as Phil Hartman. Even Mike Myers' best friend in this film, that actor keeps breaking his character to laugh at Mike Myers as the dad. So, all right. My first criticism, we don't need a montage. It's supposed to show that they're falling in love and everything's working, but we don't need a montage. In fact, it feels weird. Love that bookcase nook shot, by the way. Now, see, there's the sister, but instead of being like this, we should have had 2 3-minute scenes. Okay, maybe longer. Maybe 1 3-minute, 1 10-minute, where we establish that they're falling in love, 3-minute, and then a 10-minute scene where they're falling in love with the sister and it shows the jealousy. Oh my God. Now, what a beautiful lady, but what a character and a powerful Jewish presence. Oh, poop. The joke's a poop joke, if you can't. And those accents are New York, not California. Oof. I mean, that would suck. Don't get me wrong. That would suck a lot. Right? Fuck. Mm. So falling in love in the rain is definitely a trope that dates back. Certainly Singing in the Rain. But when you're in love, see, all those things don't matter. I don't think that, is that Mike Myers? Yeah, it is. Okay. With ADR. Oh, see, it's a nice line. Except that freaks him out. And then the thirst sets in. And you know what I mean. You got to go cruise in San Francisco in your convertible because you have no responsibilities or bills to pay or children to feed. You can just do whatever you want because you have money and time is nothing and your week is just whatever you want it to be and you can wake up whenever you want to. So the thirst sets in and you have to go out on the prowl. Hit the hot spots. What movie does he reuse that in? Also, the term, I love that line. Do you like your own sausage? Also, the term Philly makes me think of Megan the Stallion in terms of description. Now, here it is no Megan the Stallion being shorter than Mike Myers, but the grain is getting to me. All right. You know, I think these could have been cleaned up a little bit. And I don't know. I honestly don't think it was in the scan. Because I feel like it would have been thicker. I feel like they bottomed out on the resolution. And just, you know, looking at the file size on various tracks, this one's, I think, in the 60 gigabyte range. Meanwhile, you know, if a very clean movie can be anywhere between 35 and 55 for a 4K, and, you know, some go up to 80, 90. I would have put 80 or 90 for this in bitrate because, and not bitrate, but total file size, therefore higher bit rates. Because there you go. There it looks fine. Also, the problem is this codec, H.265. I mean, nothing against it. It's great. H.264 being the progenitor of kind of HD related macro compression. I mean, you could definitely take 1080p down to 2 to 4 gigabytes for a full movie. Away from, you know, 20 up to 50. And AV1 is now the new one. And the only reason I mention this is although it has a problem with grain, you should be able to up the capture to where that grain is not noticeable. So I don't know if that's, again, the original negative. It's not, because it seems digital. So I don't like the digital noise introduced here. They could have done better while keeping it like this. Still the best I've ever seen this film. And it makes me love it again in a new light. God, what, you know, good choices in panning, good direction, good writing, good acting. The person briding him behind him, though, would piss me off. Now, you could just double click into that. You don't have to nod. By all means, you're Just look her in the eye, pull over, talk to her. I mean, even a bad line comes across as pretty good here. Look at the reflection in the table. See, this looks great. Now, in this fidelity, you can see Mike Myers either with acne scars for sure, but also possibly a fight cut on his brow right there. Or maybe just bad acne, but the plot overall, though, is a bit sort of preposterous. But at the same time, you could think, all right, maybe he's got a point. Maybe we should listen to him. You got it, buddy. There's a actress we've seen before. Shout out Suzanne Summers. It's not that hard to use. Taken in by the pacing and the sound design. I mean, boofa, but there we go. So he's comfortable when it's weird, but he's not comfortable when it's, oh, my San Francisco, Oakland, butthole. Reach around. It's good writing. Yep. Those are called intrusive thoughts, and they're normal. You don't act on them, but, and this is in many ways the basis for anxiety. Anxiety, you dwell longer on such things and you feel them more fully. It's not a flickering thought. It's traumatic. So to have a brain to consider such things, and then to have a morality that makes you feel, it's quite horrible. And this worry of why am I thinking these things compounds into a circular thing, which may be what Charlie is feeling. Now we know he has good reason to think such things, as we see later in the film, but suspicion, the yeah, we still, we as the viewer at this point still don't know what's going to happen, right? We don't know if he's really in danger, and we certainly don't know what Act 3 is going to be. Now, this office in this room looks very familiar, right? It's been in other films. There he is. Now, I know Michael Richards has been canceled. One of the earlier examples of such a phenomenon for his outburst at a comedy club. In the early 90s, he was in several films like this where he was quite a character actor. So, pre-Seinfeld, was in a Weird Al movie that we'll watch on this movie cast. No, maybe not. Seinfeld was 89. Okay. But UHF, the film I am talking about, is right about the same time. So he definitely wasn't famous from Seinfeld just yet. There you go. Someone to match the energy. Isn't that ironic how parallel that is to why he made that outburst? In his opinion, the exact same sort of reasons. He was my ride home. Well done. They're the painted ladies. Another fantastically scenic shot. I believe back in the day, the members of Grateful Dead lived in one of those houses before it was cool. Yeah, her New York accent is not disguised. Beautiful color. I don't know how much was enhanced for this version. I feel like it was. I feel like the vibrance was brought up. And I'll watch the original cut I have of this and compare. But this is gorgeously sharp without as much wild noise that we saw in the others. There's, I mean, digital noise in the smaller parts. And again, maybe that's just what you get because of this zoom, but I don't know. I would have done a higher scan. There he is, doxing his exes. But I guess this is his art, so we're not supposed to question it. That's how I always thought of it. He's a serious artist, performance artist, willing to do this. But a guy just kind of complaining about his exes and putting their actual photos out there for everyone else is fucked up, isn't it? Dun, dun, dun. Oh, he left the candle. The torch. I carry a torch for you. Wow, a wipe cut. George Lucas appears. And the shot, which is up on the hill, is gorgeous. God, what an apartment, and what a rooftop. And that may be the hill. He switches up. Okay, so back to just straight up Powell Street. There's Alcatraz. In San Francisco, you have to have bars in your window because homeless freaks will break in, much like New York. An honest statement. I like that. I don't know. I like his. I like his delivery there. I do. I really like understated Mike Myers. Now, he never did a serious film like Jim Carrey would do. And we have the Serenade. And And this is the best of his beat performances. Right? Not bad. Do, 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 do. Too silly, but okay. There's your honesty. And we're back. Of all the serenades I've either done in my life and seen in my life, this one worked pretty well. The one that didn't work but kind of worked is in a Stay Tuned from a few years later. My God, what a great bathroom and a great bathtub. Again, there's that weird gender reversal thing that makes me wonder about Mike. That's a beautiful shot. Again, I wonder how much they touched up here. Mike Myers with his infinite budgets and whatnot. I wonder if he had things redone. And every time I see this film, I think that is Linda Hamilton. But it's not Linda Hamilton. There could be more than one Ralph. Oh, and we have some ass. Is that Austin Powers' delight? They looked at his dick, though. Is that appropriate? I guess when it's very awkward, you don't know what to do. The proud Scottish of San Francisco have all turned out. Yeah. There's that accent again. Again, good, straight, honest vulnerability. Head. Not really. I have an injured foot, is all you have to say. The slow dance shit won't last for long, though. The cocaine's been brought out. And that's the other side of Mike Myers that I feel is he really liked the cocaine. I love the song. I love the cocaine. I love the cocaine. Yeah, that's smart. Is it classy to announce your engagement on your parents' anniversary? I don't know. Doesn't matter, I guess. Very earth tony. It's clearly what they designed, though. It's not. If there's been a recoloring for the HDR, which probably. Yeah, see, that seems a little more saturated. That's a little more vibrant. But sometimes film is like that. I mean, very irresponsible of her from what we know. In fact, insane. We talk about honesty here. She has been withholding this whole time. Act 3. And, or well, not quite Act 3. Act 2, Scene 6, but now we'll call this Act 3, Scene 1. Now, you can see the coloring there is more touched up there too. This guy did a good job. Now again, I'm going to give some of the noise to A shot, B shot, and soft lighting shot. Filmed indoors, candlelit. Not entirely, but, you know. There's that extra reaction of Mike Myers where he vibes off what you say. Now, if you think I'm sexy and you want my body. All right. Good fucked up time. People with their own bottles. She's pulling and separating his butt cheeks. By the way, if you grab an ass, there's a couple different things you can do. I think the most aggressive is a full upward separation of the cheeks to open the butthole to the air. That is an aggressive move. And if you're about that, you know, if you're about that life, that's a make or break. And she definitely separated his butthole. There's a woman in the background touching her feet, obviously sore from wearing high heels. I like that touch. Now, why is the sprinkler on? Dune. Now, Mike Myers parlayed all of this. You know what I mean? Like, it's interesting to think this guy was such a writer and such a force and such a legend, even at this time, that he got on SNL and started to evolve. Coincidence. Only you. Fill my heart with only you. And if my voice is off with the track, I fucked up the track, which is probable, or resync. Hold my stand. Oh, it's really well done, honestly. You're my dream come true, my one and only you. Ah. Big Red. Good song. And now he's going to Marin or just down Highway 1. The Beat Poets, like Kerouac, like On the Road. What is a NorCal fucking obsession? And this is a Simi Kubrick Shining vibe. He reacted too soon. Bad acting on his part. I know he was maybe consciously setting it up, but I think it would have been better to be fully innocent. She cuts him off. Oh God, they're dead. That is terrifying. Homicide. Italian boy. You're Italian too. Or I'm sorry, he's a Ukrainian Jew like me. Okay. Thus the overlap here. The gangs of New York is an interesting thing. The Irish gangs, Jewish gangs, and Italian gangs of New York are all very, very interesting and intertwined and competitive. And I'm not a history major, but that is some interesting history. Mendocino, maybe? Anywhere up the hills. Point Reyes. That would be the beach. Probably Mendocino. Forgot about that scene. Oh my. What a great actor. What a face. Again, I'm going to say they upped the saturation of color like 25% on average. That said, we've never had a release this high quality, so I really love this film. Like, look at all these distinct acts and scenes and vignettes, and now they're going to, the location and the setting matches the mood and the writing perfectly. And we're now getting into a noir here. Like this is, this is a humorous comedy, and yet we have quite a serious suspicion like noir. From the fact that it's in San Francisco, but to the subtlety here of the seriousness. The movie is light, but it's not a total innocent, lighthearted comedy. Yet we have constant humor interruption. So Woody Allen-esque sort of device, at this point, a Tarantino-esque device, and a Hitchcock device when he wanted to do it. It's a slow burn, is what I'm trying to say. And here you go. So as we enter Act 2, Scene 2 in Act 5. And what a great pairing here. Just another comic relief and yet plot driver. Stephen Wright's going to fly you out on this fucking storm? No. I don't think you would ask that. I think you would know that, my friend. Yeah, maybe once, maybe twice. I don't know. Lovely. Okay. There's a live band in that room. I would hope. And I would love to be there if such, but if not, I would not like to be in that room. You know, as I'm now watching all these cuts, I'm terribly impressed with the mix of dolly and appropriate use of shaky cam. I love it. That's Jesus God. Now he's a bad actor. He should be way more there. He's trying to be scared, but he's not really pulling it off. I thought he was bad. I mean, he was breaking up in laughter in the earlier shots too, but that was okay because it was part of the character. That's a pretty good special effects shot though. There is a live band. Love it. Aw. Only 25? What a 1920s-esque thing to do, right? But in a B&B. Now we go full noir. So yeah. Oh, nice. A mini prop right there. It was well done though. I I really think this film needs to be reappraised as one of the greatest examples of comedy of the 90s. Top 10. I know that's a bold claim, but I'm going to double down on it. Having watched it now in this fidelity and this amazing sound design, and now again, unless it was edited, I don't want any edits, but if this is exactly how well paced it is, fantastic. I'm going to watch the Blu-ray after, and if I notice a discrepancy, I will report back. But he's commandeering Grodin's vehicle. What a great read. No. See again, vignette, great. And that's his SNL brain. These fucking wacky characters here. I love it. Yes. The Clue like vibes here. And that is what my great grandfather looked like. The short Jewish man there. To the Roof. I mean, this is, again, brilliantly well done. It's his gay pass here he's making. Well, you should have told me a long time ago. I mean, I think you would understand if you've been on the run and you know your sister is killing people. So there's that side of things. That is kind of accessory to the crime. She just doesn't know. I mean, come on. Grodin was never someone I understood. See, I did watch Beethoven, which is maybe a stay tuned. I don't even know. But Grodin was not a thing. I remember, didn't he have a late night show or something in the 90s? But I never liked Charles Grodin. Yeah, well, now we know. So here's Act 3, Scene 5. The action. And again, it's not bad. It could have been even better because I love the premise of this. So instead of that, yeah, we don't need this. We don't need this forced dialogue. We could have made it more actually fucking scary. A la Copycat, San Francisco horror films, right? Like we could have done it to the next level. But here it's, you know, they keep lightening it because they don't want it to be too heavy. to the roof we go. And again, great fucking location shots. Great set. Now Burns, makes me wonder how much George Burns was a consideration in that name. But bro, you're really not kicking a door hard enough. Took one kick from my friend and I, and that's true. There were two big 6'4" dudes, but we kicked a dead bolted ass door in one kick. Just gotta, know where you're kicking, man. Good suspense moment. There's that blue light they light all night shots in the 90s with. Now this should be a joint. And a few years later it would be. It's hilarious. It's been many back and forths. But it's it's too boofa at that point. I would prefer it to be a straight on fucking serious fucked up thing at this point. Not a cartoon. I guess that's where it loses some credence because, it is Mike Myers. Mike Myers doesn't want anyone to be that unhappy. That's the scene from the preview, and the one I remember. And again, you could even do all of this and yet have it progress a little more serious. Now, wearing that raincoat, see, look at all the extra lighting. Wearing that raincoat is a American Psycho move. And stay tuned for the 4K on that. And now we have a tidy ending. Is she invited to these beat things now? Okay. But just, I don't know. What's their future? Who is he? What is his job? It's an artist, right? So this is very much the Mike Myers story in its own weird way. Yeah, I'm happy. Perfectly done. Very, very great film from start to finish. Writing, editing, acting, good grasp on humor, good referential humor, but relying on also classic tropes. Some good tension. It could have been a little better, but this is not a bad film by any regard. This is one of the greatest films I think I've ever seen. The photography is excellent. And the transfer here in 4K is better than I thought it might be. But with some questions about post edits and things like that. As you know, again, they're entitled to do. I'm not saying everything is set in stone, but there's a lot of noise in this transfer. This isn't compressed enough to deserve that level of noise. And maybe it's just me, again, as we talked about at the time, arguing for a higher level format. 8K TVs exist, but 8K Blu-rays do not. It's hard to play 8K at 60 frames per second, which is now considered minimum. So there's that whole side of things, right? Films were 24 frames per second. I think 120 is now the natural minimum. And going forward, I think screens will be 120 minimum as we move up to 240, which I've not had any extensive experience with. But as an old man who's watched a lot of goddamn lot of screens and pixels and blurry snow and shit, 120 is pretty goddamn good. Anyway, drunken ramblings aside, I hope you enjoyed this one. Like, honestly, this is a fantastic film, and you should love it. And I'm going to go ahead and watch all the extras on the 4K I bought, and you should too. Goodbye.